All right. Good afternoon from Kirksville, Missouri. This is Randy's Rant. I thought I would come on a few minutes early, let people arrive, and I'm enjoying a little music on the side here. I will stop that when hopefully some people will start showing up. I don't expect anybody for about 5 minutes, but this will be a recording shared with Facebook. Uh, I'm just trying this bigger format. I want to draw in more people to the Blue Dot family. Uh, Very good song for the times we live in. Speaking of porn, they hydrate. Oh, ever the clown. That's why it's 33 years we've been married. Uh, okay. I'm going to get down to business here in a few minutes. Let me check the time. Still about 3 minutes before folks know I'm going to be here. I will say at the start of this, I'm still working out, wondering how this all works. Um, I don't know whether I had a friend that became the first subscriber to my channel, John, and basically I don't know how he got to it unless he just happened to be on YouTube and saw me out there. As I do more of these, I'll start learning how to go about that and get these things out here. If you choose to view me live while I'm doing these, that's even better. I would love that. All right. Where we're at time wise. Got about 2 minutes. And this is one of those news cycles that with the big orange asshole over in England, it makes it hard to know where to start at because he stirred up trouble before he even landed the airplane. I mean, he didn't land it. You know that. He ain't got enough sense to get out of a shower of rain. Yes, he does. Last year on Memorial Day, he stayed in his hotel room in Paris because he would not face getting wet. An embarrassment on the world stage, folks. That's what that man means to me and to all of us Blue Dots. He is an embarrassment anytime he goes and steps on foreign soil. All right, I'm going to kill my music. All right. Well, let's get into it. I was just speaking of this. He's trying to start his own little war with the mayor of London itself. And I will point out the asshole couldn't tell the truth if it hit him upside the head. Because first thing in his tweet storm before they landed the plane was that the mayor of London should worry about the high crime rate in London. Let's just examine that. I don't imagine they have a high crime rate. Bobbies don't have to carry guns. They have specific ones that if they're ever needed, they're called in. But basically, they have their baton, and that's about it. They take people down by force without the use of guns in 98% of the apprehensions that have happened. Even when this person is facing them with a knife, they managed to take them down without the use of lethal force. We could take a lesson from them. All right. I'm going to move on, and I may be going in reverse order. I recorded Hannity last night, and I will watch the rest of it later. He mentions Donnie's trip to the UK in about the first two sentences. Then immediately it's off to putting down the Democrats. I'm going to leave it at that because I want to learn a little more detail. I can tell you, though, that I watched about 5 minutes of Tucker Carlson last night. Same thing. They don't mention anything about London. Number two, they start immediately into the same old old talking points. Point it back at Obama. Point it back at Hillary. They are shit. They're unbelievable. What they're doing is they're going back to Hillary's emails, the FBI emails. They say the phony dossier paid for by the Democrats and Uranium One. They're starting into that talk, which has been disproven many times before. They are so un-American. They don't want anybody to see anything that's actually going on, but they got to go back to old talking points because they don't have any new. With this orange idiot in the White House, they don't have anything to work with. The man can't be believed on anything except Fox News. They believe every damn word out of Donnie's mouth. But I thought I would throw that in. I take my Fox News in 5-minute doses. They're not going to even have a chance. Not that they could. They couldn't brainwash me because I learned you stay away from that kind of crap. The only time I was not a Democrat is when I voted for George W. Bush. Only because I didn't like, it wasn't only because I didn't like Al Gore. I was listening as I was working for the state, or maybe I was, during that time, I was working for the U.S. Census. And as I had to travel a long ways doing that, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh. I was listening to Sean Hannity's radio program. And we had a guy there on WSB radio named The Kimmer. And I was listening to that when I was traveling around doing my census work. Which brings me to another point. Let's see. Well, the point being, they're trying to put and I might have mentioned this on my last Facebook rant. They're trying to put the citizen question back on the census. It does not belong there because you want to know how many people you have in the country and not pick and choose who you're going to count. Because if you're not counting one bunch, you might not be counting others too. All right. I did watch the Axios Jared Kushner interview. I'm not quite finished with it, but I had gotten to the point that Leon Panetta was speaking about Putin smells weakness in our leadership in the United States. And he is taken over Crimea, and he wants to take over the Ukraine. And he has had them move on Venezuela. Remember a couple of weeks ago, there was some weird shit going down there where that man was going to leave the country, and Putin told him not to leave. Okay. And the U.S. agreed with him not leaving. This stuff comes at you so fast, it's hard to keep up with details. But in any case, I just wanted to go back to England swings. The England swing story is the Trumps went to the UK with 100 staffers and cabinet. Taxpayers are paying $24,000 a night just for Donnie's room, and probably Melania's got a different room than him. And then there's 100 others that have to have hotels. That's a good use of taxpayer money, isn't it? Well, I'm doing this all alone, but I heard John say when he started out, that's the way you do these things. You do them by yourself. And that's exactly what I'll do. Okay. And their president, I'll point that out, he will never be my damn president. Okay. Lied at the press conference with May saying he hasn't seen the protests. And then what crowd he saw was a nice show, a nice bunch of people showing up to see him. There were 7 people on those lines with the barricades. 7 people. Oh boy, that was a huge crowd you had turn out, Donnie. And he underplayed the protest himself because he's not seeing them. And he was claiming what he saw with a small bunch. It was very small. All right, let's see. I've also got a lot of material last night at the last moment, but Velda Snyder provided one clip from the Rachel Maddow show that I will be attaching to this video when I get through. And basically it's talking about, well, I don't want to get things mixed up, but let's see if I can decipher my own handwriting. 100 miles per hour. Oh, I wanted to mention this before I go into Rachel Maddow in the latest on some of the creeps that during the transition and after transition of power were hanging around the White House. But Grace and I and her family have talked about Donnie's code. I think I have, and I'm going to go back to see. Remember hamburgers? I'm going to go back and see what was going on the border when he did that in a tweet. Because if you drop ham off of it, take the E out of it, it's border. Possibly this is the kind of language that he is using to signal those that know his code. Kofi. I don't know what it means. What about smoking gun? Now, he could just be that stupid or that tired when he's tweeting. But it got me to wondering when we started thinking about the word hamburgers. It could be that stupid. I don't know. But I just thought I would mention that. Let me see if I can find my stuff on Rachel. Because in the links that are attached to this, it's she makes it a lot more clear. For a woman that is not a lawyer In most cases, when they bring on the lawyers, she's right on what she's saying. So let's see what we got. Over the weekend, Roger Stone went ape shit again against the court order. Uh, he is calling for the death of John Brennan, that John Brennan should be hanged for treason. So we're going to have to see what this week his that judge and his attorneys, he may end up with his ass in jail until they get through with the whole trial. It would only serve him right because he doesn't seem to understand. When a judge puts an order on you, you keep your mouth shut. Damn dipshit. It doesn't work out. I will stand in your way. I give you my word. Oh, here's a headline that was on the screen during Tucker Carlson, and they used Cory Booker in California speaking at that convention. The left will take your gun, but can't say it. Really? Instead of talking about this shit, why weren't they covering Trump's state visit to the UK? And their reasoning again, drum roll, is there's too many gun-free zones. When you go to a municipal building, you should be armed. They should take down that sign and you should be armed and go in. Why? Damn, there was a man, even with that sign up, he went in and started shooting people. What good when we look at the last two mass shootings in unarmed people have been killed taking down the shooter. Okay? And now suddenly we got to go back to everybody's got to be armed. Whether you're going to church, whether you're going to school, whether you're going shopping in Walmart, you need to be armed. Please. That's the stupidest thing. And see, it's old talking points. They don't have anything else. They've got absolutely nothing else to work with. So they go back to all these tired old talking points. I'm getting so tired of hearing bullshit like Uranium One. What does Uranium One have to do with the stinking ass president we have now? I know what it is. It's just they keep their audience so dumbed down that they don't even know what's currently going on. And that's why they won't cover over in UK very much because of all the protests and the baby Donnie in the air. So they're not covering that. Instead of showing outrage for the British public, no, they don't cover it. They go back to blame everything in this country with the gun violence on the Democrats. Yeah, that makes a lot of damn sense. Let's see what else I got. Oh, another story that she covered better than I can is about Qatar. Qatar, we have 12,000 troops there. And remember, strangely enough, while there was another leader from another country in the Rose Garden, suddenly they are a terrorist. They back terrorists where we've got an Air Force base. Why was he doing this? Well, that's where the link that I will attach to this rant gets very interesting with two familiar characters, George Nader and pornographer, child pornographer, and I can't think of his first name. Uh, Rowdy. Rowdy, who was the co-chair of the National Republican. I almost said Russian. That'd be more like it. National Convention or Committee. Okay. Uh, what they were doing was plotting to turn the U.S. against Qatar to the tune of $1 billion. The two of them were found a way that they were going to make $1 billion off of turning us against and the UAE and the Saudi Arabians against Qatar. Suddenly, Donnie comes out and says that. He doesn't tell you that these two characters were hanging around the White House after the transition for quite some time. And that's what they were doing, plotting to make more money. Pay for play. Oh, yeah. I do want to mention that Browdy was the deputy chair of the RNC. And it was in June of 2017 when Trump came out and denounced Qatar for being a terrorist state. And people can't see the dirty shit that's been going on in that fascist government where everybody is a player if they can provide some money to either reelect Donnie or just make a huge shitload to put in their own damn pockets. My email keeps popping up. I don't call for it. Just there it is. I'm going to have to go out later and see if I can correct the problem. What it is, I don't know how it has some kind of connection to Google, but I'm kind of afraid of it because I don't want to be okaying it to do the crap it's doing now. It's just sometimes I'm sitting here and all of a sudden here comes my email over half the screen. That gets irritating. So hopefully I can correct it. And it's way down in Rachel's story. George Nader paid a man named Zimmel for getting dirt on Hillary's campaign to the tune of $2 million. Now, that was money paid after the election. So somebody was getting a payoff, that Zimmel. All right, folks, I'll let you go. I could go on for 2 or 3 hours here, but I'm sure you got other shit to do. And again, I tuned in for a few seconds on Laura Ingraham, the Ingraham angle, and it was all about soap that they're bashing the Democrats are so far to the left, blah, 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 blah. And people like that make me so mad. There's a reason I limit my time that I spend watching Fox. I want to pick up one of my shoes and throw it at the TV set. Well, folks, that's about it for right now. I've got a lot more, but I want to develop the stories better before I do that. And let you have a good day. I'm going to be watching my Braves game later on. Got to go schedule that. I'm having a real problem I finally got to MLB.com. but I can't get it to accept any passwords. I'm already a member, but it won't accept the passwords that they're sending me in email, and I enter it, and it says authentication error. So I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be working a lot more on. I'll get all this stuff out to you uh, over the afternoon. Uh, Grace and I may step out. She likes to get out of the house every now and then. So peace, resist, persist, and insist that we get to work on impeachment inquiry, impeachment itself. Even if it hurts us, at least it'll be in the history books that we tried. And that's what I will continue to tell you, call Congress. You don't necessarily have to call Nancy Pelosi because I know her phone's being kept busy and she's not going to let up on what she wants to do until she's ready to do so. I'm just hoping that it's not too late by the time she decides, to do something about it. All right. I'll let you go. Have a great day. And I'll get this shared to Facebook. And I'll be answering your comments later on. And I can do it in real time since nobody showed up for the YouTube taping. All right. Share this shit.